This week, Rip and I talk NFL. We talk golf, life advice, all over the place. Rip's on fire with life at the moment. It's a wonderful episode. Enjoy.
DK, as always, this episode of One Star Recruits is brought to you by 500 Level. It's 500level.com for all the best t-shirts and sports. I had a mixed week, DK. I got called old for wearing a pair of HOKAs to a public event, but I also got a compliment from a 10-year-old kid on my Ellie De La Cruz 500 Level shirt. So if you want to get that shirt and make you feel young again, they got Shohei Ohtani Dodgers shirts. It's 500level.com. Discount code podcast at checkout for 20% off everything on the site. 500level.com. Let's go.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. Congratulations straight off the gate to the Michigan Wolverines after beating the snot out of the Washington State Huskies. Rip, did you win your bowl pick'em? You were in the championship. Did you win? Are you victorious?
I did. I came out on top against the 11-year-old kid, that my friend's son that I referenced last week, and I was in the driver's seat. I went into the championship with if I pick the winner, I win the pool, and I picked Michigan. It was hard to go against them with that defense.
That defense is good. It was painfully hard to watch the national championship game. It is loaded with commercials. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe I don't have the patience I once had for a big setting like this, but the Super Bowl doesn't even seem this commercial ridden. It was just felt very slow for me. And every time I looked up, it was Michigan rushing Michael Penix Jr., him not being able to make a play, and then looking up again, and suddenly Michigan's in the end zone. So big congratulations. Hard to watch for me. I don't know if it's college football in general or if it's just an overdrive of commercials. Am I tripping out on that? Do you think that I don't know, Rip? It was just hard for me to watch that damn game. Am I in bad energy for college football viewing at this point?
No, I think it's justified. I mean, it's 60 minutes of actual game time, and they turn it into a 4-hour event. It is tough sometimes. I mean, you got to block out 4 hours to watch a game.
There was 12 different options to view the game on YouTube TV. They put all of this, and every time I clicked the damn an option, it was going to a Geico commercial with Desmond Howard, former One Star, by the way. Great episode with Desmond. But I can't even see that commercial anymore. I got that one, and then the Burger King commercial, and then you get a some kind of wiener drug commercial. It was tedious to basically watch Harbaugh. I'm happy for Michigan. I think their fans are kind of Patriot level fans. Throughout my life, I think of other Michigan fans, and my first memory goes back to the starter jackets. Big Michigan starter fluffy jacket. They carry a persona with them, kind of like Patriots fans do, kind of like Cowboys fans a little bit. So I'm happy they got one. I don't know how long they've won a championship. Was Ann Arbor getting loose? Did you see in the news? Do they still party when national championships leave? Do they tear the town apart?
I actually didn't see any of that footage, but the biggest celebration I saw, DK, and be careful who you talk to about Michigan fans, is the Sklar brothers, former One Star alum as well, but huge Michigan fans. They were getting loose. They were at the semifinal game. I'm not sure if they went to the championship, but huge celebration in the Sklar households. And yeah, Wolverines fans, man, it's a good day for them.
It's good, and I'm proud of Jim Harbaugh. That was in 2021. They were kind of like a messed up football team. They were trying to figure out what direction, and once again, God, that man is a winner, huh? Jim Harbaugh, his brother too. We'll talk about the Ravens a little bit because I want to do a quick wild card preview with you, Rip. You're really actually good at this stage in football. For our entire friendship, you've been very excellent at wild card predictions. So bookmark that. But Jim Harbaugh, semi-successful pro football player. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean he was all right on Tecmo Bowl. I remember him with the Colts. He was decent, but
Jim
yeah.
Harbaugh or Kurt Warner? Who are you taking?
Oh, Kurt Warner all the way, man. Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl loser, all-time human being right there.
Does it change your mind if I tell you that Jim Harbaugh once did a cameo on Saved by the Bell as Screech's cousin? Does that change anything?
No, but I do remember that episode. But it also tells me he had other interests outside of football, and Kurt Warner was all about ball and winning.
Well, okay, for another day. Maybe that's a good debate at some point in time. Back to Harbaugh being a winner, though. Semi-winner in football, but you make the NFL as a professional athlete, you've won in that realm, pretty much. University of San Diego, winner wins. Tell me where I mess up here because I don't have it pulled up. Winston, can you pull up Jim Harbaugh? He's not going to do it in time. Stanford, right? After San Diego, turns the program around. I'm not sure what it was, but I think they only lost one game. And then he's off to the races in the NFL. It's the whole Kaepernick thing we remember. Did I miss one in there? Did he go straight from Stanford
To the 49ers, yep.
to the 49ers? Yeah, Bay Area guy. 49ers did his thing. He got as far with that organization and that situation that he wanted to go to. And I think he's from Michigan. I think that's where he was raised, took that job, rebuilt that program a little bit, back to being a winner. The question now for everybody, what do you do now? He's a winner. His brother's a winner. His dad's a winner. A family of hard workers who figures out a way to get it done. He doesn't seem, he seems cool enough. Maybe, maybe if the Harbaughs come over for the weekend, you're excited to see him go a little bit because he's so high energy. I don't know if I'd want him as you gotta want him as your team's football coach. I just listed off he's won everywhere that he's been. What does he do next, Rip? Does he go back to the NFL?
100%. It's the absolute perfect ending for him after the year of scandal and people crushing Michigan for the sign stealing, video stealing scandal, and then they come out and win the title. Look, they might have sanctions coming. It's the perfect time for him to get the hell out of there. He just made, I think, $10 million with all his bonuses, won the title. He's forever a legend in Ann Arbor, so there's no reason for him to go back. Just go to the NFL, avoid any penalties in college, kind of like Pete Carroll did when he left USC. Go to the NFL. He's going to get like $12 million a year from the Falcons or possibly the Patriots. Go to the NFL. It makes no sense to stay at Michigan.
Two very unsexy jobs you just listed there, Rip. Remember that Los Angeles Chargers job with Herbert sitting right there. Could be a really good fit. Speaking of coaching carousel, it's in full effect. It happens every year about this time. Mike Vrabel, the Titans, got fired. Didn't fully see that coming, but I'm okay with it. That man will be hired immediately. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a job in the next 8 days, to be honest with you. I see him possibly New England. That makes sense. He played there. Also, very good fit maybe in Washington. Rip, if they want to go defensive minded and bring in a good offensive coordinator, Bob Myers, former GM of the Golden State Warriors. No, I am not hallucinating. The NBA has just accepted a job as kind of a co-GM for the Washington Commanders. So expect them to make a splash. It's going to happen. Vrabel could be that guy. So that leaves that Tennessee job open. Arthur Smith of the Falcons. Wow, so Arthur Smith, he got fired. He got the pink slip. This was going to probably happen nevertheless. But what a finish to his career, to that game. Let me walk you through the end of this game real fast because it involves Jameis Winston, who is just what a character that we get to watch play NFL football. Even when he's not playing, he finds a way to participate and he's in the media. Nevertheless, really fucked up thing that Jameis decided to do. Kind of just straight up disrespectful, I suppose. Curious to get your thoughts, Rip, on that whole decision. But what happened was they were getting their asses kicked. The Falcons, I believe it was 41-10, 41-14 or something. Unwritten rules of football, just like unwritten rules of baseball and lots in basketball. There's unwritten rules, especially at the end of games. And the Falcons decided to pop it in, pop Jamal Williams in for his first score of the year. And Arthur Smith was pissed off. They had a hot mic on him at the end and he didn't shake hands with Dennis Allen, coach of the Saints. And Dennis Allen, Rip, was apologetic. He agreed that wasn't the right move. Turns out Jameis did an interview afterwards where he said it was a team decision. Sounded like maybe a Jameis push decision with two other guys. I don't know how many people are in order to raise their hands to just disrespect the coach's call. But Jameis certainly was down, and he didn't really have any regrets. No regrets. The tattoo that Jameis had on. Rip, coaching wise, put it aside for a sec. I went off on a tangent there. Just the unwritten rules of football. Jameis Winston being Jameis Winston. The score of this game. You fine with this move, or does this get you heated? Is this disrespectful? Are you telling your kids not to do this?
I'm telling my kids not to do it because it's definitely breaks an unwritten rule and it is disrespectful to the Falcons. But at the same time, man, Jameis was looking out for his teammate. He wanted to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. So he got a lot of credibility in his own locker room. If he's running it back with the Saints next year, he'll probably be their backup quarterback again. He's on top in that locker room. Why does he care about what the Falcons think? Because he probably knew Arthur Smith was getting fired after that game anyway, so it didn't really matter. Just honestly, like the perfect way for Arthur Smith to go out too. I mean, the guy has like they picked Bijan Robinson, number 8 overall, and basically used him as a backup running back for more than half of the year. Like you deserve to get fired when you do that. I picked Bijan in fantasy DK in the first round because he's supposed to get 20 carries a game. He was running behind Tyler Algier more than half the year. Get Arthur Smith out of here. That guy does not deserve another head coaching job.
So many weird calls this year. So many weird quarterbacks who we never thought would be quarterbacks. So many weird coaching calls. Look at that Los Angeles Chargers job, vacant now. A lot of weeks you sat there in close game losses asking, what the hell? These coaches really play a role in the decision making, especially when it comes down to timeouts and having a good game plan together. We will see. I'm most curious, most interested in to see what the Raiders do with Antonio Pierce. I know we both like him, Rip. He's a Long Beach guy. He's the Raiders. He's a Raider. Seems like it's a really, really good fit. Seems like it fits the flow of Vegas, the Raiders, the team. And if they can get a couple more pieces, it's a slippery slope, though, because you see the cigars and you see it's good when it's good. Does it get really bad when it's bad? I don't know, but I think Antonio Pierce is the guy to ride through those waters. I'm keeping a very close eye on him. I hope they hire him. I hope they hire him and let him do his thing for a couple of years. That's kind of the most. I'm keeping my eye the closest on that one as far as a guy that I want to get the job. Do you care about anybody else, Rip, getting a job, keeping their job, or do you not care?
I don't care as much. The one that interests me the most actually is Belichick because I would not be excited if he got the job as my favorite team's head coach at this point. I mean, the guy is extremely old. He has a terrible record with personnel and draft picks over the last 10 years, but he has so much credibility because he's won 6 Super Bowls, one of the best coaches ever. But it wouldn't excite me if he was my team's next head coach. I just don't. It seems like maybe the game has passed him by, but he's going to get a job. I mean, he's very well respected out there. I think he's still in high demand. By the way, he hasn't even been fired yet, which I don't even understand. But it sounds like he's going to be let go for sure by the Patriots. But I don't know. I'm interested to see where he ends up. I could see him down in Atlanta or Tennessee, or maybe even the Chargers. Who knows?
I think the head coach sets pace, sets schedule, sets flow like a CEO a little bit more. This day and age, we're seeing it right in front of our eyes more than ever how important coordinators are. You mentioned the Patriots. Those are his kids, bro. Not qualified to be running the type of offense in the NFL with the defensive catching on so fast. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. This works. It worked for a little bit. We're on to you, Philadelphia Eagles. The NFL is on to you. They don't run any motion, Rip. They don't do anything new and exciting. And guess what? After you put 15 weeks of tape on, we're on to you, Philadelphia. Guess what's missing in Philadelphia that was there last year, Rip? Go ahead, take a guess. One's in Arizona and one's in Indianapolis.
Yeah, they're coordinators. So you think they're going to lose to the Buccaneers? Is that what you're saying? You're digging the grave for the Eagles this year already?
I don't have any faith in the Eagles the last 3 weeks. That was embarrassing with the Giants. It's embarrassing. And Patricia's problematic. I think coordinators are more important this day and age than we've ever had before. And them being the leaders of their positions, you're seeing it with Kansas City too. Let's get into the playoffs. Kansas City lost their offensive coordinator to the Washington Commanders. He's not working magic there. That's a completely broken piece there in Washington. But you can see what's broken in Kansas City when he's gone. The creativity's gone. That's why I like McDaniel. Unfortunately, I don't think Tua is the guy. Let's get into it, bro. The playoffs have arrived. Let's walk through some games here and get your thoughts on it because it's pretty clear. It's been pretty clear since the beginning of the season. It's still San Francisco 49ers. It's still the Baltimore Ravens. And then you get a touch of Buffalo Bills and maybe a sprinkle of some Dallas Cowboys. Nobody else really has a chance to win the Super Bowl here. Am I right, Rip? Would you be surprised if any teams I did not mention are playing in the Super Bowl?
You're leaving the Chiefs out, DK? You're gonna dig their grave already? I mean, they still got a guy named Patrick Mahomes back there.
He has nothing, nowhere to throw the ball to anymore. It's not the same Mahomes, but you're right. The Mahomes factor, we'll put him in there. We'll slide him in there for sure. It's a wild card weekend. It's a wild card Saturday. Let's start with Cleveland, Houston. Who do you like out of this game? And this is probably when Cleveland, for me, gets exposed. They're gonna do turnovers. The difference with the Texans is the Texans can score. Who do you like? It's in Houston.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a totally different outcome if that game's in Cleveland, but the fact that Houston got that home game by having a worse record, but they won their division, I think that magic on Joe Flacco runs out, man. Good. Houston's got a pretty good defense, and CJ Stroud, I think, is gonna be the difference in that game. So yeah, I'm going Texans.
Yeah, I think Texans too. Although Cleveland D, if they can put it together, this is a rookie quarterback. Remember, still rookie quarterback. Cleveland defense is really, really good. I just get so concerned with three or more turnovers, is particularly picks. Hopefully not on pick sixes, but any pick sixes that game is a wash. Miami got cold. Tua, did you watch Hard Knocks again? Did you get back into that, or did you turn it off since too much cussing?
I was one and done. The too much cussing. I can't watch it with my kid. I need to have a night where I binge all four of them.
It's okay. It got really painful when they started losing these terrible games. They lost another terrible game, which put them out of contention to lock up home field advantage. Anyway, they're going to Kansas City. We just talked about it. Mahomes with no help. Guess where his help is? On the other team with Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins. Kansas City, Miami. It's a coin flip. It's in Kansas City. Probably shit weather. Who do you like?
I got to go Chiefs. Taylor Swift's going to be there. You can't go against her. But yeah, Tyreek, it's definitely a revenge game for him. I mean, he's going to be fired up for that to ball out over there in Kansas City. But the Chiefs actually have a pretty good defense, and Miami's offense has not been the same the last month. So I think if Chris Jones and those guys can get to Tua, I think the Chiefs will be that will be the difference, and Mahomes will throw a couple touchdowns there.
Same. I'm in agreement. Pittsburgh goes to Buffalo. No Watt. Pittsburgh's lucky to even be here. Enjoy. It's fun while it lasted. I think Buffalo dominates. You agree, Rip will move on from that game. Green Bay, Dallas. Gets a little interesting here because Jordan Love is balling. He's playing well. This is another situation where I think a team was a little bit, what do you call it, hibernating? Figuring it out, hibernating a little bit more in the regular season, and they're starting to peak at the right time. Very important. I don't think they have a chance. Still think Dallas wins this game, but it's going to be close, and it's going to be scary for Jerry Jones because this might be his last. He looks like Skeletor back there. Does Green Bay surprise Dallas at home?
I actually think they do. It seems like a very cowboy-like thing to lose this game to Mike McCarthy's old team, probably by a field goal in the last minute. And I see McCarthy
Feels
being
right.
gone. I mean,
Yep.
maybe Harbaugh or Belichick, the next Cowboys coach, but it feels like a very Cowboys thing to lose this game.
Oh, you just nailed it because McCarthy was there. It all feels set up to pass this torch here. And I do like Dak. I like Dak. I don't love Dak. Not enough to root for normalcy versus a Jordan Love upset who is also playing well with not a lot of great help wide receiver wise. Some young guys are really showing up a little bit, but
And it would help, and it would spite Aaron Rodgers a little bit because let's be honest, man, he wanted to leave the Packers, went to the Jets, got hurt, but Jordan Love, like you said, has been balling out, and for them to advance in the playoffs, the Jets didn't even make the playoffs, obviously, but for the Packers to advance and spite Aaron Rodgers a little bit would be nice.
oh, that would chap his hide. Bookmark that. I want to talk about that in a second. And then Detroit and the Rams. No surprises. I don't think that. I think Detroit wins this thing. I still don't see Detroit in a Super Bowl, but I think they can get past the Rams here. We in agreement?
I think so. I mean, the only difference is that the intriguing thing about this is the whole trade between Goff and Stafford, and really, yeah, I think Detroit being at home, they have a really good offense, but I wouldn't sleep on the Rams. I think it's gonna be closer than you think, and I do give them a shot to win this one. I think this is a coin flip, really.
Flip it. And then the Eagles, the team we talked about, who's kind of lost it. It's the opposite of what's happening in Green Bay. We got a team fumbling all over the place. Matt Patricia calling offensive and defensive plays. Who knows? Who knows if Jalen Hurts even cares anymore? AJ Brown, I think, is hurt. So who knows? Your boy Baker's banged up too, Rip, and I don't trust anything Tampa Bay. It's just a big coin flip for me. Used to be Eagles, no problem. I think Eagles slide by, but Eagles in the decline, and good run for Baker Mayfield. Way to get your career going again in the right direction. But Tampa Bay, you're done. Mike Evans, Arizona Cardinals next year. You look good out there. Just throwing it out there early.
I would like to see that. He's getting up there, but Hall of Famer for sure. I think he has like 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons, which is unbelievable.
So Eagles or Bucks?
I'm going Eagles, man. I think momentum is a little overrated going toward the end of the season into the playoffs, and I just still think the Eagles are the better team. For one game, I think they're going to game plan better than the Bucks can, and yeah, I take Jalen Hurts over Baker, so I'm going Eagles.
I love it, Rip. Life advice. You're wearing Hokas. I will put on my Hokas to run errands, but it's all probably about 9 out of 10 times. It is always a question in my head, though. Should I just put on my Nikes because I know these are not cool? Like, I know they're not cool.
We're going through the same thing. We're going through the same thing. I couldn't have said that any better. I wore my Iversons out the other day and I felt cool. I felt like I was back in my 20s. But then I wore my Hokas to this little league event, and this guy comes up to me and he kind of cracked a joke. He goes, "Oh, we know this guy's old because he's wearing Hokas." I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, that kind of stung a little bit.
You let them know this guy runs half marathons and will beat you right now in a one-on-one race, and you can't do that. You just laugh it off at those and rip the truth of the matter. Here's the truth. Here's the cold hard truth. This is my unpopular opinion that not a lot of people agree with me on. Way more comfortable than any shoe Nike has ever made. Period. A pair of Hokas. Way
Wow.
more comfortable than any Nike shoe I've ever put on my feet. A pair of Hokas is lighter. It's more comfortable. It's an all-around better shoe. Nikes feel blocky to me. Even a Reebok, it feels like a heavy, blocky shoe. I know they look cooler, but if you want to just talk overall comfort, come at me. The Hoka, it is just the most comfortable shoe. Running, walking, running errands, whatever. So if that means old, if comfort means old,
It does. It does. Because these two things can both be true. You're absolutely right. I mean, there's a reason why nurses who walk 30,000 steps a day are wearing these things in hospitals. They're not wearing Nikes. They're wearing Hokas. But it does mean we're old because we're prioritizing comfort over looks. So
over
we are
fashion.
old, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
fashion is pain. That is correct. Fashion is pain. You're right. You're right. That's it. So we're old. Then we're Hoka wearers. I still will. Here's an example of when I will choose to wear my Nikes, and it's so stupid. Going to go pick up some food, I'll throw on some the Hokas. Going to do a quick little walk, maybe drive somewhere, do a little walk, throw on the Hokas. If I'm going to say pick up a prescription or go to a doctor's appointment, maybe even go to the grocery store because there's more head, I'll throw on my other shoes. So I'm fighting it, and I'm gonna let you know by the end of this year, I might switch over completely to comfort, and I think that's okay. I think it's an okay move, unless somebody can tell me a better shoe that combines the two, comfort and coolness. Let me know. Budget is only about 120 bucks. Not spending 500 bucks on some Louis V's.
And I know people are going to come at you with Skechers right now, but Skechers do not fall into the cool category. So that to me, that's an automatic elimination. Skechers are definitely comfortable, but they're not cool. So they're a notch below Hoka's in my opinion.
Not cool. Yeah, there it is. There it is. The truth comes out. And we love Hoka. The evolution of Hoka should be to maybe get into some other styles. We'll see if they can pull it off. That's when it starts to get out of control and usually unsuccessful. I'm glad we're on the same page though, Rip.
Yeah, DK, and that actually was my 1 star moment of the week. I got called out for wearing those Hokas. It made me feel a certain way, man. And but now that we talked it out, I feel a lot better about it. So hey, maybe this is turning that 1 star moment into a 5 star moment. Because I'm gonna rock those Hokas proud, man. I use them for running all the time, and now they become my everyday shoes, and I'm not mad about it, DK. You got a 1 star moment of the week?
Yeah, I'm gonna team up with you, high five with you. I wore them on a trail run, and I realized too that they are not trail running shoes, and I got called out for that too. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get called out. Bottom line, unless you're walking a mall, unless you're at an airport and you're above 60 years old, or like my boy Rip said, unless you're a nurse, and you're not the nurse trying to be too cool with your Air Force One Pandas on. Okay, you got your HOKA RX6s with a little pink and blue in them. That's how we roll. I'm over it though, Rip. 1-star moment for me. Great example. Should have been wearing my Hokas. I was not. I was wearing a pair of slides. It's been raining a lot where I live. It's rainy season here in Kauai, and it comes and goes, but it comes and goes pretty heavy, pretty quickly. And I am under strict instructions from the property managers here that if I see any hogs, I got to chase them away. It's an unwritten rule, but it's written because they told me. But it feels like it's unwritten rule because it happened in the fourth quarter last night. Actually, it was overtime. It was the end of one of these horrific sideway rainstorms, and it was completely wet out. And I popped down just to take a look at what's going on. How's the rain? Anything flooded? How muddy is it? And I take a look, and it's family of 2 full-size hogs and a family of 6 teenagers and 3 smalls. So there's like 11 hogs, pigs, in this grassy garden area. And I hear the little voice in my head of protect the house. I'm supposed to chase the hogs. Actually, I think the nice folks who manage the property said, just let the dogs just chase them away. My dogs can't get their bellies wet. Okay, Rip. They have allergies, seasonal allergies. Their bellies get wet. We get fun. My dogs are not chasing pigs. So I muster up my slides. I go down there and I give a yell. Doesn't do anything. Does nothing. All it does actually is make my dogs bark from the house behind me, which still does nothing to these pigs. So I pick up an array of 3 different size sticks, because I'm going to do another yell. And maybe I'm going to throw, and not at their direction, but just in their general area. So I'm in the middle of a hog chase. So here I am in my slides, and this is a hog chase. This is a very 1-star hog chase, one-sided here, because they don't even know that I'm here. But I get about halfway down the hill. I make the bad decision that I'm going to slide off of the driveway into the grass in my slides. And so I do that because I think I can get a better angle because I'm clearing a tree there, and I'm going to throw one of these sticks. But I reach back, do my best. I just do my best John Olerud throw in that area. And I cartoon, lose my slide, foot first, butt back. Luckily not head, no concussed. There's no concussion like Aaron Rodgers, like Jimmy Kimmel calling out Aaron Rodgers for being a community college concussed. How about that? How about that slap?
Chico State,
Coconino Community College for me, man. I think I got a couple concussions in my day too. So put me up there. Anyway, and there I am. Guess what? Pigs took off quicker than ever as soon as my butt hit. So successful. But then I had to do the walk of shame in my Skims joggers, my Adidas slides that you gave me. Thank you, Rip. And now a very wet hoodie that I have on, and that's my 1-star moment. I went pig hunting, pretty much, and I lost to nature. 1-star.
Wow. I mean, if I was listening to this pod for the first time, I'd think you lived in like rural Arkansas and not on beautiful Kauai out there. It's amazing that you find yourself in these situations, but I mean, the crazy thing is you're so remote. I'm sure there's no security or surveillance cameras. It'd be amazing to see some of this stuff on like a Ring camera or just a outdoor security camera. Because I mean, these would be like viral clips. I just saw a clip of a guy slipping in his driveway on an Instagram reel, and he like slid down the entire driveway, hit his tailbone, and then just popped right back up like he did it on purpose. But that's the kind of stuff that you go through out there. 1-star moments, man. It's incredible.
People love falls. Luckily, it was no injury, nothing except for my dignity and my ego was shot down a little bit. It's funny to me that they don't. So the pigs and the cows will eat a lot of some of these plants. They like to eat the tea tree. The pigs are actually a huge problem. They fuck everything up. They just dig and shit and fuck up everything. So it was pretty clear we don't want them around. So maybe I'll try to train my dogs. I'm worried my dogs will take off and the pigs will either beat them up, or they'll run into some like pig shit, and that's problematic for me too. So we'll just let it be. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. I love pigs. The thing, we love the animals. We think they're great. We think this is like look at the thing. No. People, the cows and the pigs fuck the property up. All the everything that's planted, all the food that's planted, all the, so rocking a hard place. Rip, I'm an animal lover. What can I do? You ever seen a family of pigs? Nothing cuter. Nothing, zero cuter.
I saw some javelina in Prescott Valley, and yeah, they're ugly, but they're also cute at the same time. It's a weird dynamic there.
Yeah, smelly and smelly too. Actually, this transition, this is an animal week to start off 2024 for the One Star recruits. My recommendation of the week happens to be animal based. So after the pig hunt, the next day, I had a wonderful Sunday morning of NFL football followed by PGA golf, which is back, by the way. The tournament in Maui and Kapalua was beautiful. It looked like every time I watched this tournament on television, it looks like a green screen. It looks like guys are standing behind a green screen with computer animatronics in the background to create some of it. But just such a lovely Sunday of sports watching for me. So I really enjoyed that one, and it turned into I got a little tapped out on sports, took a break, made some dinner, came back, flipped on PBS. Rip, I'll put on PBS every now and again. You know some shows that I watch, I keep up on it. I like the flow of content that PBS puts out for a couple reasons. Mainly, back to my original rant at the beginning of this episode with the championship game. So many commercials. So many commercials. Guess what on PBS? No commercials. So it's hit or miss, though. It's hit or miss. Sometimes you may want to watch a documentary on rice paper in Japan, but not too often. A lot of times the animal stuff is pretty good. It's not quite as good as some of the Netflix stuff or some of the other stuff. I really like kind of the documentary style things that they do when they get into Frontline's a great show. But I love Ken Burns. Ken Burns is great. He's done all the amazing documentaries that you probably had to sit through in school, or maybe they're long, but they're detailed, and he's just really a professional. He did the Civil War doc. It's kind of the first one that you would have heard of, Rip. You were probably in sixth grade. Probably put that one on for a handful of your sixth grade education. Nevertheless, I found myself watching The American Buffalo, bro, by Ken Burns. It was 4.5 hours of The American Buffalo, and I'm intrigued. I'm completely flabbergasted by how useful and how the American Buffalo built this amazing country, the United States of America that we live on. Pretty much was the foundational build of it before all of the colonializers came and messed it up. But then they came back, then they went away, then they came back, then they went away. Buffaloes are amazing. Is bottom line. There's my rec of the week. Ken Burns. If you want to do something for your head, you want to try to watch something with your kids, Rip, a little bit different. There's no way your kids last more than 3 minutes. But I think it could be something to maybe pop on before you go to sleep. You never thought of the relationship between the buffalo and this country until this dude put it together. And I'm very grateful for the American buffalo, bro. There it is. You're welcome.
Is there a difference between buffalo and bison? Or are they pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same. Possibly bison is a plural of buffalo.
Okay, it seems like a one-star answer. But yeah, when we were up in Yellowstone this summer and saw hundreds of bison in person, which you don't get to do very often, but I'm a little intrigued, man. I'd like to hear what they have to do with the evolution of this country.
So much, bro. Native Americans, it was everything, and then it became product development for guys like Wild Bill Hickok. Remember him? He was actually a buffalo hunter for a long time, and it got bad with the buffalo, then it got good, and now our relationship's back to being okay, thanks to those national parks that you just mentioned. And that's kind of the saving grace for them buffalo. But I'm not mad at them. In fact, I might want to have a little baby buffalo. George Washington had 2 baby buffaloes. That's how much he loved them. What do you got,
Okay.
Rip? What's your rec?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down a totally different road. I try my best to recommend things for parents out there. I know a lot of our listeners have young kids, so this is probably a recommendation for kids between I'd say 4 and 7, and it's something my kids got for Christmas from their aunt. It's a game called Allowance, and it's by Lakeshore Learning. You can find it online for like 15-20 bucks, but it's a really good game about it's kind of like Monopoly where they have different stations, and then you get a certain amount of money every time you pass go. But it teaches them about money. It teaches them about spending and also earning for different things. So it's a really good introduction if your kids are just starting to like learn numbers or count. Yeah, it's called Allowance. Lakeshore Learnings. Just Google the Allowance game. You can't miss it. DK, did you get an allowance growing up?
Yes, but it was not as organized as it could have been. As some of my other friends' houses had like a chore board and it was set up. It was kind of it was story of my life. It was based on salesmanship. When something came up, I had to go present and propose to my parents, and usually my dad would say no, and then my mom would say yes. So that's how it usually worked. But I had to sell everything, Rip. It was never really a work to it. Everything was reactionary, you know. So good
Like,
lessons to learn. You know what you should do too? I don't know if it's part of the game, but once they get their money, you should at the end of the game, everything's closed and cleaned up and put away. You should take 50% of that.
go buy some Hokas. Probably.
Taxes. Let them know.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Teach them about Uncle Sam early, huh?
Yeah, go buy those tokas too. Go show them off. Let them know you got brand new hokas, and you should have used that money to repair some of the carpet in the house, but you got hokas instead. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's good life lessons, and really the impetus was kind of what you mentioned. We started a chore chart for them with different chores and starting to kind of teach them about a little responsibility rather than being spoiled their whole lives. So yeah, the allowance game, Lakeshore Learning, go get it if you have kids between 4 and 7.
Nice, Rip. Nice. You know the chore chart. I do appreciate chore charts that have a little bit more thought as I see them in certain houses, and I like it when parents do the worst jobs. You get paid more. So the hardest jobs and the what would be kind of the worst jobs, the bathroom cleaning or the dog poo pickup, have more monetary value. So you can suck it up a little bit more. You know, you mess with that a little dynamic pricing in your chore chart. Is that happening?
Well, so now, yeah, like it's not quite pick up dog poop yet. I'm looking at it right now. Take out the trash is one. Put your clothes away, brush your teeth, feed the dogs, so stuff like that. But it's funny because now the payment is actually screen time. We're not even giving any money. It's just we're giving them screen time. That's the currency these days.
Very smart. Very smart. The new currency is screen time.
If
Look
you
at
do all your
you.
chores, you get an hour of screen time. That's times have changed, DK.
Times have changed. Yeah, because money. What are you gonna do with $2 now? You can't even buy anything.
You're gonna go buy a video game so you can play it more.
With $2, you ain't buying nothing, man. You got it. It's not even worth it for a. You're right, Rip. Screen time's a new currency. Data, baby. Let them get that data going. Dang, good Rex, man. Good pod, brother. We'll be back with some guests this month to wrap up January. It's been a dry January for me. Not purposely, but as I think about it, it's been dry January. You dry so far? No drinks?
No, I think I had a drink at like January 1st at some point.
Right on January 1st, I'm dry January. I'm already 10
You gonna
days in.
try to keep it going? You gonna try to keep it going?
Yeah, but keep it going the rest of the month. I'm doing dry January. Easy for me. I'm not a big drinker, but it's why not? I'm halfway there. Might as well do the damn thing, man. Rip reacts. Hit the music. Rip, we got a problem with Alaska Airlines. We have a 737 Max airplane that a window door flew off mid-flight, had to do emergency landing. Very scary. What was your scariest moment in an airplane?
Scariest, other than like turbulence, I've been pretty lucky. I mean, we had some bad turbulence on a flight, I think to Florida one time. But for someone else, I think we actually had to make. I think I was flying from Los Angeles to New Orleans, and we had to make an emergency landing in, I believe, Albuquerque or somewhere random like that, somewhere in Texas. Someone on the plane had like some sort of heart attack or medical emergency. So not really scary for me, but scary for that person. That's the only time we've ever had to make an emergency landing. It was late at night too, so it was kind of a weird thing.
Pat McAfee called out his bosses at ESPN on his show. Kind of won that battle. It's been a couple of days here now, but it's the guy named Norby, gentleman named Norby at ESPN, who sounds like just an asshole corporate guy anyway. Rip. At McAfee versus ESPN. Who do you got?
I'm ESPN all the way. Norby sounds like a guy who would wear Hokas. He probably has one pair of every color, DK. He sounds like one of us, to be honest. He's been at ESPN for a long time, and I just can't stand Pat McAfee at this point. He's just trying to get attention all over the place, all the Aaron Rodgers stuff, his dumbass sleeveless shirts. I can't stand the guy. He has lots of fans, but I'm Team Norby all the way, man.
People seem to like him, Rip. That's funny. You're anti, man. I'm okay with Pat McAfee. I think he's entertaining. I think ESPN needs him. I think he's the best that ESPN has to offer. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy Kimmel. Aaron Rodgers made some comments about Kimmel being on the Epstein list, and what it comes down to is anti-vax versus vax, Hollywood versus on Hollywood. Jimmy Kimmel versus Aaron Rodgers, Rip. Whose team you on?
I mean, you could also, Jimmy Kimmel's Arizona State, my alma mater. Aaron Rodgers is Cal. But yeah, you're right about all the other stuff. And I've been anti-Aaron Rodgers for a long time. He's in the same boat as Pat McAfee for me. So I'm Team Jimmy all the way. If he's on any list, it's one of the funniest guys out there list. So I'm on Team Jimmy, man.
Although he did try to blast him in a monologue that was just also painful to watch. Lots of painful to watch stuff this week for me a little bit in the sports realm. That's why I'm excited about Wild Card Weekend. I'm okay the Cardinals are out of it. Pleasantly surprised how things worked out once the season is ending for my Arizona Cardinals. I think we have the right head coach for this team. I, like you, Rib, think Kyler Murray, and I really want to see some growth this offseason. Just watch what Lamar Jackson does. Just watch tape on him and Mahomes. Can you mix those two up a little bit more? You're not going to grow. I watched, there's a point in Hard Knocks where they put a GoPro camera on Tua's helmet, Rip, during practice. It is so fucking hard to find receivers in the NFL. It is so hard. And it makes me think about Kyler a little bit more, but what Lamar and what Mahomes do to get free, to make plays, to turn football into a new game that it hasn't been, I think they can do with this squad. I like Mike Evans. I think Connors actually could be a fine guy if we do something like the Detroit Lions and get a playmaker in that backfield. And that defense is going to get better, Rip. I think it's a place that people want to live. That's my Arizona Cardinals rant. I give them a C+ for this year. That was going to be an easy D- at the beginning of the season. What's your final grade for the Cardinals?
Yeah, I say a C+. I mean, we're anti the cringy coach, Jonathan Gannon, but he had those guys fighting. They had a lot of close games when they probably shouldn't have. I'm glad without how it turned out because I think they have the 4th pick in the draft. But like you said, man, it's all about giving that quarterback time. So I think they use that 4th pick on a top-notch left tackle offensive lineman, especially now that DJ Humphries just tore his ACL and is going to be out. If you can protect that quarterback and give Kyler like that extra half second, I mean, Lamar has such a good offensive line. He has all the time in the world to throw for the most part. So give him some protection and see what he can do, man.
Yep, there it is. One-star recruits will be back next week. Rip, have just the most amazing 2024. I say this to you as I am projecting to myself. Get outside in nature, exercise, and make sure you guys move your body moving into this new year. I know it's cold out there in most of the country, Rip. Enjoy Long Beach. Enjoy your family. I love you, bro. We'll see you next week.
Buy some Hokas. Buy some 500 level shirts. See you next week.
Peace.